Greetings, Steve Moran here, Senior Living Foresight. I'm here at Western Home Communities, somewhere in Cedar Falls, Iowa. My good friend Chris Hansen has invited me here as the CEO of this organization. He has been the CEO for 135 years. He's an amazing man. I'm just delighted that he was able to have me here. So I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. That's what I do. And what's important to me is to kind of just carry the vision of Senior Living Foresight. And be able to make sure that we move the needle on aging. We need to move the needle on aging and have people get a different perception of what aging is all about. And to that point, I am so excited to introduce one of my great friends. And let's give him a big shoe, man. Let's give him a big shoe welcome. Let's give a big shoe welcome to Mr. Michael Owens, SLIF. Let's go. Where's Michael?
You're right today, Steve.
Michael, you are the Brad Pitt of senior living conference organizers. You know, and it's such an honor. It's such an honor to be a part of interviewing you. Tell me kind of how did you get started in what you're doing?
Well, Steve, it's always a pleasure being on your show. I don't know about Brad Pitt. I think some of my friends maybe say I'm the Gary Busey.
Did I show you our mug? Did I show you our new mugs?
Yeah. New merch. Nice. Yeah. So SLIF, for people that are just tuning in, Senior Living Innovation Forum, we started back in 2015.
We got stickers. We got stickers too. Michael, did you see our stickers?
Yeah. Steve, are you okay, man? First off, what's up with the swim cap?
Oh, please. Quit making fun of baldness. You know, don't bully me. This is not an era to bully, okay?
You're
not like the old days.
You look a little different to me today, man. But
hey, I don't know. You can talk about my hair, but
I understand.
I don't know where you get a haircut,
going
man.
For different looks.
How much do you paying for a haircut with that head of yours, man? You're lopsided. At least I'm even.
Nice. Well,
no, go ahead. Keep going, though.
You're going through something. I get it. A lot of people through COVID, they're going for different looks. Yeah, I definitely did that.
Man. Keep going. Let's hear more about SLIF.
Yeah. So SLIF, you've been there over the years, and you went to the first one, and this year we're actually going to two times a year, which we're excited about. As I mentioned, we're going to Napa in May, and then in the fall we're going to be going to the Bahamas. And actually, the Bahamas would be good for you with that little do-rag thing, because you can actually prevent from burning that little bald head of yours.
Did I tell you we got T-shirts? We've got T-shirts. Would you like a T-shirt?
Yeah. I saw you actually had a pink one too, just at Nick a couple of weeks ago. That I think that suits you pretty.
Oh, you mean this one?
Yeah, you got the pink one there. That's awesome, man. You're supporting the women in senior housing. It was a good movement.
Did I show you my shoe? Did I show you my shoe?
Is that a new shirt? What happened to your
I just wear the same.
I thought you only wear Chuck Taylors, man.
I just wear the same shoes 6 months in a row. It works. It works for me.
You know what? It seems that you've been drinking, so maybe I should start drinking today too, Steve. Your glasses are on a little sideways.
Pardon me?
Your glasses are on sideways.
Oh, okay.
They're a little crooked there. Yeah, you might want to straighten them out a bit.
Is that better?
You know what? I think you maybe today's not. Maybe Fridays aren't the day for your show, man. I think maybe the middle of the week. I think you're maybe a bit burned out from doing that Evolve conference all week. You know what? I think most of the audience, because I've been on your show a few times, a lot of people know about me, but what I don't think a lot of people know is like your backstory before Senior Living Foresight. How the hell?
No, but I think you were supposed to talk about your favorite vendor first.
Oh yeah. I know. I actually, I want to talk about you, but like Senior Living Foresight, you guys get to work with all these vendors, and we do too. But I'm just curious to know, like, who is your favorite vendor that you work with? There has to be one, and who is the most visionary, like, technology CEO founder that you've ever interacted with in senior housing?
I gotta go with. Do you know Jack York from IN2L?
Oh yeah, it's the guy with the Keebler elf beard.
Yeah, no, I mean, Jack is someone. He's been an inspiration to me. A combination of it's this unique combination of technical prowess with incredible amounts of humility. I've never seen anything like it. I talk to his tech guys a lot. And you may not know this, but Jack's a programmer. He's a programmer. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. I just thought he just kind of is like the goofy guy that drives around and rides goats and things like that.
No. There's a lot more. He's got a lot more meat to him than that.
Oh, okay.
There's
It's funny. I did say, speaking of meat, the last time I saw him, look like he got a little bit larger through the pandemic. But it's funny. We work with I think of people more of like a Charles Turner or somebody that's probably the more well-rounded CEO in the tech world. Do you know him? Do you guys work with him?
Yeah,
Or is he too cheap to spend money on your site?
Turner talks a big game, but he's kind of a Texas guy, big hat, no cattle kind of thing.
Yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that about Turner. Well, you know what? Seriously though, about your backstory, I still don't understand it because what I understand, you worked in sales for a company that did solutions in senior housing. You started this blog, and it's taken off, and now you're the voice of senior housing.
It's funny. Funny you should ask. Let's start at the beginning. Maybe you'd like to see a picture of me as a baby.
Not really, but sure. Let's go there. Wow, you're a big baby. Oh, okay.
Yeah, look at that, man.
I think we maybe bring some child pornography.
My right foot's got a big tennis shoe in that tub. You can't really see it, but it's got a big tennis shoe in that tub. But what a cute ass baby I was. You got to say.
When you were born, did you come out and say, "Steve Moran here"?
Yeah, no, it would. It'd be that if I had a chance, I would stick a little one of these stickers on that baby's forehead. He came out of the tub, promoted himself. Excuse me. So, but let me show you how I matured as I got older. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Tell me that's not a hunk of burning love. Yeah.
That's some hot stuff, dude. That's a good looking fella there. Wow. So you actually had it wasn't a white beard back in the day. That's a thick, dark beard.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens. I'm a proponent of healthy aging.
This is the boring stuff. From what I understand, is you're like almost like a international man of mystery before you went to senior housing.
Well, I have a lot more. I keep a lot of my. Well, I have a whole kind of CIA background. Maybe I got a couple of pictures that can speak to that. There's a lot. I'm out on the road a lot doing things that I kind of keep to myself. But we'll see. Maybe a couple of pictures could speak to that. Oh yeah, there. Look at that guy. Tell me you wouldn't want to bring that guy home to talk to your mom or dad at the senior prom. I mean, who could not? How could you not trust that face?
Totally, man. No, that looks like you. But what were you doing at that point? Tell me, where were you? This looks like it says your 40th birthday. So where was your 40th birthday party?
My 40th birthday party was at Niagara Falls. I was at Niagara Falls with 450 dignitaries from all over the world. We'll show you these next pictures that you'll see kind of the part of me that that doesn't really come out on the blog.
Oh my God, that's with our president. What were you doing there?
Well, he had some questions about inflation. I told him it was not that the stimulus wouldn't have any impact on inflation, and he took me seriously. It worked out well for us.
Yeah, it's really working out well. All right, show us some more images, Steve. This is amazing.
Well,
wait, Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, like I said, Brad was out building houses in Louisiana, and she needed a date, so I was there for her, man.
Wow, those houses! I really heard that those houses worked out well too.
Yeah,
cool stuff. Well, what else you got for us?
Well, after that, then I didn't just hang with Biden. I was giving Trump some advice on.
Is that a Chinese flag behind you? What's going on?
No, I was giving Trump advice on how to use Twitter to win friends and influence people. So that went pretty well too.
Wow. And anything else?
Oh yeah, baby.
Whoa.
Yeah. You gotta see me without my shirt on to really know what's being
Well, what happened? I'm just curious to know what happened to the muscles, though, dude. And and can you tell us where you were when this photo was taken?
It's the Western home food is good. I can't blame them, but I just decided to tone it down a little. Kind of like when you look at Schwarzenegger now, he's kind of toned down a little bit. It's just part of aging.
So wait, are you trying to say that all those photos of Schwarzenegger were Photoshop. It was actually you, and they put his they had Photoshop back in the 70s and 80s. It was actually
I don't want
Steve
to
Moran.
I don't want to talk out of both sides of my mouth, but just say me and Arnie we got some good stories to tell you later. When it's not on camera.
I actually got to bring something to your attention. Unfortunately, it says that your name is Jack on the screen instead of Steve. They must have screwed up.
That's a pseudonym. That's a pseudonym for my CIA days.
Okay. And any other things? So this is really interesting. I really didn't have any idea about what. Wait, that's the Backstreet Boys.
Can you sing?
No, wait, it wasn't Joey Fatone. It was Steve Moran. Tell us.
Yeah, we go clubbing.
I just heard that these boy bands were pretty wild.
Yeah, we go clubbing from time to time. Wait, I think there's some. Wait a second. I think there's a. Hold on. There's a.
Whoa, dude.
What are you?
Wait, these images.
Get this thing out of here.
Where's that image? What's going on here? Oh my God! It's not Steve Moran. It's Jack York.
Hey, I'm sorry.
I'm getting you back where you belong.
I'm going to go do dot to dot.
Yeah.
So Chris, come on in here. Chris Hansen, CEO Western Home, baby.
Oh my gosh.
If
Chris, good to see you.
Right, I don't want to be wrong.
There you go, baby.
I was duped. I thought Steve Moran looked a little weird today. He asked me to be a guest on this show, and I'm like, I don't even know what we're going to talk about.
So okay,
a little weird.
For those people that thought it was Steve Moran, it's really Jack York. Shocker.
I think that anybody that's actually tuning in, if there is anybody watching this right now, I really don't think they thought it was Steve Moran. And if they did, maybe you were drinking the tequila like I am over here.
Well, when I go to Sliff, and before we go to the next thing, I'll give you a minute to really talk about Sliff. But can I wear the skin cap at Sliff?
You can wear whatever you want, Jack. You can bring the sequin coat you wore last time.
I will shut up and give you a minute to talk about Sliff.
Senior Living Innovation Forum. It's coming up May 22nd to the 24th in Napa. So you don't even know the dates. SLIforum.com. It's a great conference that Jack's participated in since the beginning, and so is Steve. That's my plug. But you know what? We're obviously having some fun here at Steve's expense because Steve is out giving a keynote, right? He's this big guy now. He sets up a show and he realizes he can't do it because he's in such high demand to be speaking at these conferences.
He's going to abandon us relatively quickly, so let's enjoy the last leg of we said
let's just burn the show to the ground so LinkedIn won't allow him to do anything anymore. We're heading in that direction. But we figured we'd have some fun here since he's not here. He asked me to be a guest. He's like, oh, by the way, I'm actually not going to be there. So he asked Jack to step in and host. So we're both fans and friends of Steve's.
And we both know this will be the last time we're on his show. So.
Yeah. Maybe you and I should start our own one to compete with him. There we go. But why don't we do this? We were trying to arrange, we're not really prepared for this. We want to actually bring on some other people that do know Steve to talk about him. But we didn't arrange that in advance. So why don't we just call people at random on our phone right now and get them on the spot to talk about what they think about Steve.
Yeah, we'll get a little Steve. I like that because Steve, this is kind of the transition to we both admire Steve's work and he's been a trendsetter. Let me start with Jody at Radiant. You gotta like Jody at Radiant. I'm just gonna give her a call and see if.
Hold your phone up so we can actually hear it. Oh, you're an Android guy. You know what they say about Android guys?
I don't. Do I want to know?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, wait. We could be getting voicemail.
If anybody in the chat has somebody think we should call that knows Steve, put their phone number in.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, she might call back. And Jody. Jody is one of IN2L's 45,000 customers. We're in 45,000 communities all over the planet. I believe in hyperbole. That's worked very well for me.
Yeah. So you're the Jack York guy that Steve Moran was talking about earlier. How about our friend Paul Mullen? You know Paul Mullen, right?
Paul Mullen. I know Paul Mullen knows a lot about Jack York. Yeah, give him a holler. Give him a holler.
Yeah, we don't want
I'll
to
keep
talk
trying
about
to get
Jack
a hold
York.
of Jody.
Let's call Paul Mullen. Let's see where he's at. He's probably sitting on a beach drinking or something. Shit, I got 2 phone numbers here. Oh wait, I'm not supposed to curse, right?
Okay. This is a dull part of our show if we don't come up with somebody.
Come on, Paul.
Come on, Jody.
You know, this is like a test. Who is more popular? Who actually picks up our phone calls?
Well, I think we're 0 for 2. Okay. Okay.
All right, great. This is a great show. This is what happens.
The phone call thing worked out really well. All right. Well, let's see.
Hold on. We got someone. Paul Mullen.
What's going on, Mr. Owens?
Nothing, dude. What are you doing today?
Just fielding calls from Spliff people, getting penthouse hotels from Napa. I hope. I don't know.
Oh, all right. Well, let's not talk about that. Let's talk positive things about Spliff. So listen, I got you live right now on Steve Moran TV. We're just going to call it that. I know it's Senior Living Foresight TV, but that's a mouthful. You're live actually right now. So and there's probably like 6 people tuned in.
And here's Jody. Here's Jody. So we can have a whole 4-way thing going here.
Hold on. Now we're competing. You also got Jody Guffey on here live too. But real quick, hold on, Jody.
Hold on, Jody. Hold on. Stay there.
I know this is coming. Steve, listen, we're doing a little, I guess, roast here of Steve Moran.
Okay.
When you hear the name Steve Moran, what comes to mind?
I think about goat versus goat. Jack York versus Steve Moran. Does Steve have a goat tattoo?
No, he does not. But Jack York has a goat. Steve, wait, Jack, you want to show him your tattoo?
Oh yeah, you got it. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, now he's taking his pants off. This is getting really weird. Oh my God!
Hang in there, Jody.
I can't see it. All right, you do have a goat tattoo, and you can tell that story in a second. But in all seriousness, about Steve Moran, what do you think of when you hear the name Steve Moran? Now, be honest.
He's everywhere, man. The guy is senior housing extraordinaire. He's up in the echelons of a Jack York in starting this whole podcast recognition. But
come on, give us something a bit salty. Come on.
Yeah. Paul, this is
come on, Paul. I didn't call you. I was waiting for you to have something funny to say.
Yeah, make this your Spartacus moment. This is your Spartacus moment, Paul.
Nothing but love for Steve. The guy's everywhere and one of the best advocates of what we do, for sure.
All right, we're hanging up on Paul Mullen. All right, Paul, I'll see you in a few weeks.
Later, guys.
All right, hey, Jody. Are you there, Jody?
Yeah, I'm here, Jack.
Okay, we had Paul Mullen, who didn't really have a lot of teeth to say about Steve Moran. Give us your butterfly blot. When you hear Steve Moran, Jody, what do you think?
Striped tube socks and light up Converse.
Oh, that works.
Right.
That works.
And belly flops at Frank Sinatra's house in Palm Springs.
There we go. Belly flops. You know what? It really wasn't a belly flop, though. He did dive in. For those who are not aware, at the Senior Living Innovation Forum back in the spring, we rented out Frank Sinatra's house, and to raise money for Alzheimer's, which we raised $25K. Steve Moran was dared to jump belly flop into the pool. It was more of like he fell into it, but we'll give him that. He did.
Did it turn into like a wet T-shirt contest after he got out, or?
Well, it turned into that, and actually Paul Mullen jumped in too, fully dressed, which I think for everyone there, they'd probably be happy that both of them were fully dressed jumping in. Just to add that, just a little disclaimer.
So Jody, tell us about Radiant. Give a little Radiant plug.
Radiant plug. Well, things are good at Radiant. We're starting to crack the code, I think. Looking into the crystal ball, and it's looking a little brighter than it has been for the past couple of years. So excited about a lot of things, honestly. It's boy, I hope we're getting back to something that we're used to, maybe something new, but more importantly, that we get back to our why and why we do what we do and why we love what we do. It's been past couple of years, obviously all of us know it's been real challenging, just kind of focusing on the next battle of the day. And I'm starting to feel positive that we're going to be able to start get back to the things that we love to do with seniors and senior housing and employee engagement. It feels good again.
Are you going to be in Napa at SLIF?
Yes.
All right. All right.
Jody, the last time you, me, and Jack were on a virtual thing, we were tasting hot sauce as well during the pandemic. So Jody is a good sport. We tried to do something entertaining. We did a panel where we shipped out hot sauces and tasted them, and I think that was pretty fun too. So maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do that live and in person.
Jody's out taking her son to college visits. Yep. So let's let her off. Let's let her off the hook. But thanks, Jody, for dialing in. You're awesome.
Absolutely.
Radiant's awesome.
I'll go out and try some more hot sauce. I'm down here in Texas.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Bye, Jody. Thanks.
I was gonna try Lynn Katzman, but I don't know. If
Let's go into Steve's past. Why don't you lead us? Why don't you take us into Steve's past, Michael?
All right, we've got a surprise guest here, so we know that we wanted to talk to some people within the industry. Hold on. But we said, we reached out to his family and we said, let's get someone that would surprise Steve, someone that knows him well beyond, knows him from his days, from the Chippendale days, from his NSYNC days, and also his time hanging out with current and former presidents. Let's bring to the screen one of Steve's childhood friends. Bert, what's up, man?
Hey, good morning, guys. Calling in from the Sacramento River, just out here catching stripers. Steve was supposed to join me, but he didn't show up.
Oh, he's too cool now, man. He's a very important man. He's out giving keynotes all over the place.
That's okay. I'll send him pictures. That'll really get him.
Wait,
can you turn the phone around? Show us where you're at. I don't see a river, man. I think you're making that up.
It dives down into the river.
Yeah.
Trust me, Steve knows where I am.
Yeah. Well, Bert, give us a little background. How do you know Steve?
Wow. Okay, so I met him in 8th grade. We went to high school together. We were college roommates. During college, we hung out at it's called Madison Bear Gardens. They serve coffee and tea. They do serve a little bit of other stuff, but Steve never touched it. So we hung out in some unusual places. And the good stuff is Steve and I go way back and went backpacking with his dad and Steve several times. And now Steve and I go backpacking as often as we can. There's actually a good side to Steve. I know you guys just see the bright tennis shoes and the CIA agent, but some of us get to see him where he really kind of relaxes and he's his true self.
So what was he like in high school? I'm trying to picture him as a prom date.
What's the most embarrassing thing that we can, get out of you right now to talk about Steve?
Wow.
You have an embarrassing story?
Steve would owe me so much money. Steve's going to be glad that I cleaned this up a lot.
Listen, Steve is filthy rich. I mean, he's just milking all these sponsors in senior living right now. I mean, it's insane.
Steve, I'm waiting for the check, dude. Ask Steve about the hike up to the dairy in college. It was kind of a fuzzy moment for Steve. I think a week later, he still didn't quite remember where he had gone or what he had done, but he really likes cows.
You start thinking not remembering things and farm animals. It's a bad.
Yeah.
There's something there, weird, man.
Well, don't ask him about sheep. That'll really get him going.
Oh boy. Here we go. Tell us more.
Wow. You guys really want to know the real stuff.
What do you think?
I was going to say,
on a stage.
I was going to say paint the visual, but probably not.
He did like hiking along flumes and doing stuff to classmates that so in high school he was so good and just such an angel, his dad sent him to a boarding high school. You know how those things kind of go. So Steve was such an animal. He took a 55-gallon barrel, leaned it up a guy's door, filled it with scalding hot water, and then started pounding on the guy's door. in college, he actually one of the friends' roommates, they almost burned the dorm down. He got
Whoa.
he
So
got
Steve-
called into the dean's office, and they were there for 6 hours because nobody would rat on anybody else. But he has quite a colored past, if you know what I mean. He
Wow.
the colored past, actually, Steve and I turned our college room into a dark room, and he tried taking pictures. I don't know, does he still take pictures?
Not. I mean, he may.
I don't-
I mean,
I'm
I'm
still-
not, that I'm
I'm-
not
I'm still-
familiar with.
I'm mentally still back in the fields with the sheep, so I'm
Yeah.
having trouble.
No.
Going to
You're
the
like,
next
don't
part
tell
of
us.
the
Tell us a
conversation.
story about a sheep. You know, Bert, can you just make up something ridiculous? Because then it's still out there, and we can just say, "Hey, look, your old friend told
Yeah,
us."
can't blame
this
us.
really happened.
I can make up all kinds of stuff. Steve was very good about going out to dinner and not quite finding his way home, if you know what I mean.
Oh, you like to hang out with Mr. Tequila, maybe?
Maybe a little bit. He always went to meetings, and I wasn't quite sure whether it was church or AA, and I think he tried to cover them both up.
It's
All right, Steve's gonna be real happy that we found Bert to come
why
join
don't
the
we
show.
why don't we bring Steve Stokes in, because I think Steve can bring the spiritual side of Steve out, because Bert's done a good job of hanging him out to dry. We love you, Bert. You gave us more than we could have ever dreamed of.
Hey, Steve.
Hi, guys. Well, yeah, my stories are a little different. But I met Steve in Torrance, California around 1995. I was being hired to teach in the middle school down there. He was part of the team to greet me, and apparently they set it up in a Japanese seafood restaurant. And he was in the corner staring at a sea urchin and octopus, and he wanted nothing to do with it. He literally was looking at his food and looking at the people around him like he was in a foreign country. And the first thing he said to me was, "Do you eat this stuff?" And I'm like, I don't even know anyone. I'm just like, no, I don't either. So he's the first thing he wanted me to do was to go on mission trips with him to Mexico. And we would take the students down with us from the outside of Southern California. We were down outside of Los Angeles, Torrance, the beach area. And I'll tell you two stories. He would go down with us, and we would take 20, 30 students. And we'd go down there, and every day he'd say, "Hey, Steve, can you make sure these trenches are dug?" And digging in this stuff with, antiquated shovels and picks, solid, thick. He'd disappear for the day. And he'd come back, and all the work we'd done, he'd come back with supplies. And I'm like, "What'd you do all day?" And he's like, "Oh, I was driving down, and I was shopping, and I was setting this up and that up." And then we'd come back, and we'd look over in the corner, and there he is sleeping in a hammock. And he'd say, "Oh, I'm getting the sermon ready." And
I think
then
I
we'd
know
come
where
back,
this is going.
we'd get done showering, and he'd look all showered and cleaned up, and so where's all the hot water? Because we would literally rig up these large things in the air to heat up, and we had no outside water. We had to pour the water in and let them heat in the sun. All that water was gone, so we had to get cold water for showers. Steven, he smelled wonderful. He looked clean.
He does
We
smell
were
good. I gotta
filthy,
say that
dirty.
Steve always smells delicious.
So he worked so hard on those mission trips.
Yeah.
No, he set those things up, and he influenced so many students' lives. Every Friday night at his house, he would invite teenagers over, and he'd have 20 kids there. He'd feed them. He'd work through the Bible with them. He had a tremendous influence on a number of students. It was really quite amazing to see the energy he had at that time for that. I am not sure what he did for a job. I think his wife paid for everything. But I was fortunate enough to actually teach both Becky and Paul. But I met him up later on. He had moved up north. I've always kept up with him since then and just kind of followed his blazing trail of glory. He was up north, and he was doing a Sunday morning pancake breakfast, I think for homeless people. And I walked in, and once again, there's this huge crew setting up, working really hard, and there's Steve over on the side, making sure everybody was doing their job really well. He's quite the organizer, I have to tell you. He really is. And he'd even pop in for a photo opportunity to flip a pancake. So,
All right, that's great.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think all of us have these different sides that you don't always see, and that's pretty cool. And I think Steve, when Steve watches the video of this, he will very much appreciate your commentary as opposed to his buddy Bert. That's a whole different story there. But
it's a different story. Yeah. I think Pat had cleaned him up and gotten him on the right track by then.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, thanks, Steve. It's about last minute or two to wrap up.
Yeah.
Thanks, Steve, for your
thanks for joining.
So,
Jack,
Jack,
are you
commentary.
Hold on, dude. I'm checking my email while this is going on. I like to multitask, and I just got an email 17 minutes ago from Jack York that says, "Don't miss my keynote." How the hell are you doing that at the same time?
It's all about multitasking. It's because if you put it all together, I'm laying on the hammock telling kids what to do up in the sheep in the woods in the farm. So
I'm helping give you a little plug because it looks like tomorrow, Michael, you're invited to watch my keynote Tuesday, April 12th. I'm going to shake things up. So tell us about your keynote.
Oh yeah. No, I am the Jack York part of me is going to be, I'm happy to be part of Evolve, and I'm going to be trying to be a little inspirational to the world of activity professionals that have, IN2L we wouldn't exist as a company without for the incredible work that the activity professional world has done. And so looking forward to having a discussion with the gang about that. And that is the serious thing that we're doing.
Cool, man.
All right. Well, I'll give a little commentary, Michael, and then why don't you wrap it up? So I guess it's my commentary is that, Steve, you've been a trailblazer. You're not afraid to say what you think. You take issues on that people are kind of afraid to touch, and sometimes it gets you in hot water, but that's cool. That's a good trait to have. And so thanks for blazing the trail for all the work that you've done. Oh, wait a second. Look, yes.
I put my makeup on for nothing.
Ah, shit.
Not gonna be happy with that, boys.
I heard you had a client call. Like that. You should have said, client, I got something more important to do.
I know. Trust me.
Denise, I actually talked about you on our webinar this week.
You did?
Yeah, so we were talking about culture, and I was talking about how you said a couple of years ago, and maybe I said it was wrong, but I think you said something along the lines, and I've said this several times, that it takes almost 5 years to kind of get culture right in an organization. Is that correct?
Well, to completely transform a culture, but you can make lots of changes.
Hey, Michael, did you ever notice that Denise has 5-year consulting agreements?
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought too. I'm like, oh, Denise is smart. She's like, you got to sign on for 5 years.
Yeah, I maybe a 10-year. I think it takes 10 years, Michael, to really turn it around. So Denise, did you hear any of that before? Did you know about Steve and the sheep?
I did not know about Steve and the sheep, but he's a very multi-dimensional kind of guy. So
it's weird. Every once in a while, I just hear him go, meh. And that kind of explains it.
Okay, I'm done talking. I'll let you guys. Why don't we give Denise the last word, Michael?
Yeah, Denise, the last word here. Tell us a funny story about Steve.
Well, you both might know this, but Steve and I met because we were both at Leading Age. I did not know him at all. We were at Leading Age in the exhibitor hall, and I was walking down an aisle, and I thought I saw my friend, and I went over and punched him really hard. And he turned around, and it was Steve, not the person who I thought it was. So that was probably, oh my gosh, almost 10 years ago now. So I was super embarrassed. And then we just kind of quickly exchanged whatever. Sorry, I thought you were somebody else. And then that night in Denver, we were seated at 2 different tables, but really close next to each other. And he started telling that, like Steve, somebody punched me today as I was walking around Leading Age. Huh. And anyhow, so that's how that was the genesis of Steve and I meeting.
Oh, wow. Great. I'm going to try that move now. I'm just going to start walking up and punching people that I want to connect with. I'll report back and see if that works.
Let me give you a backhand and then sign you up for a 5-year consulting agreement. It's a great strategy.
Apparently, if you just walk a sheep around leading age, he
Well,
might.
actually,
Goats
just to
or
add to that,
goats.
how I met Steve is before we were launching Sliff, I reached out to him, cold email saying, hey, you know, I've been reading your blog. I'm familiar. Our organization Influence Group is considering launching a senior living event. And his response back to me was like, yeah, I don't think the industry needs another conference. And it was just like, oh, wow. Okay. Thanks, dude. And then I show up to a conference in LA a week later and I sit down at a table and I see him coming in. I recognized him, you know, how can you not? He comes walking in and sits down at the table next to me. I'm like, this is the guy that told me there's no need for a conference. So he turns to me, he goes, shakes it. He goes, who are you? What are you doing? I'm like, I'm the guy you told last week that there shouldn't be another conference in the industry. So I'm like, awkward. So we sat at the table together, but obviously we've become friends and
I love it.
I proved him wrong.
Yes, exactly. You did really prove him wrong. That's for sure.
All right. Well, Denise, since it's our show, we'll give you 45 seconds to plug your work because you do pretty cool work.
Ah, well, thank you. So my company Drive works with organizations on culture, as Michael said, and we measure organizational culture, which impacts recruitment and retention and every single outcome in an organization. But yet we guess it a lot. So we do a lot of guessing what our culture is, and we can actually drive it with data. Just like you do your financials and occupancy and everything else, you can use data to drive culture. So that's the work that we do.
And what's your website?
Cultureoutcomes.com. Cultureoutcomes.com. Because Drive, the name of my company, was probably
Sorry,
done.
your 45 seconds have come to an
Ah!
end. You had your
follow-up
shot. You had
question.
your
Hit the
shot.
button. Hit the button.
What kind of show is this?
All right. Well, on behalf of the first and last time that I am the guest host at a Steve Moran podcast,
That's for sure.
it's been a one-time
Podcast.
pleasure.
This is
I'm
a webcast. They're different things.
I'm a one and done. I'm a one and done webcast.
That's
I'm
why
a
he
one and
looks
done.
like that. He thinks he's on a podcast and nobody can see him.
Yeah. Well,
What do you think? What do you think of Jack's beard?
I'm a little older, so I don't use you young people use this different terminology, so that's got to be what it is.
He's
So
going
on behalf of all,
Actually,
all
I gotta actually get some things done today. So you guys, thanks for having me.
All right,
Denise,
thanks
good seeing
everybody.
you. Jack, see you soon, buddy.
All right, see you in Napa.
Yeah.